Today's episode of PTG is brought to you by the one and only Trans Labs that brought the world two amazing products. First off, Transfuse, which is a hydration multiplier, and most recently, they just dropped Transcend, which is a nootropic energy formula. No matter what you use, when you choose Trans Labs, you are going to be boosted and you are going to be ready to charge the paintball field and win out there. With Transfuse, that is a premium rapid hydration multiplier and immunity fortifying formula scientifically designed to replenish you at the cellular level. And they use all natural ingredients in this product. We've got zinc, we've got vitamin B6, we've got vitamin C, sodium, potassium, choline, and it is an amazing way to make sure that you're hydrated and prepared to play top-level paintball. When it comes to Transcend, that is a premium nootropic energy formula designed to increase cognitive performance, elevate mood and clarity while supporting long-term brain health, and it's going to leave you feeling great with no crash or jitters. It's one of the only products in the nootropic space backed by research studies to ensure the formula is correct for optimal performance. It is more potent than anything on the market, and it will keep you charged and ready to win out there. I take 1 scoop, but if you're stimulant sensitive, take a half scoop, and if you want that LFG dose to launch to the moon, dump 2 scoops in your drink and you are going to be flying down that paintball field. Comes in 2 delicious flavors, Baja Blast and Skittles Candy for the Transcend. And for the Transfuse, they have 2 new flavors as well, Pineapple Express and Hawaiian Punched. So if you get a chance, head over to translabs.com. That's TRANZLABS.com. Use code PLAYTHEGAME and you'll get 10% off. If you subscribe to a monthly delivery service, you also get 10% off as well. So you can take advantage of 20% off on these products. Head over to translabs.com and give it a go. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram, @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. This episode of Play the Game podcast is brought to you by HK Army, and PTG listeners, do I have a treat for you. If you are playing NXL Chicago, HK Army is offering a special paint promo to PTG listeners only. HK has made constant improvements to their paintball formula, which is leading to more consistent results come tournament time. Myself and the entire Houston Heat squad have been feasting with HK Army paint at the events, and I can't wait to see you all out there in Chicago shooting it soon. You will even be able to test the event paint yourself at NXL Chicago once you arrive at the venue. Be sure to email teams@hkarmy.com. That is TEAMS @hkarmy.com and ask for the PTG paint promo to find out how your team can get the hookup on paintballs for NXL Chicago. Don't wait. Do it right now. Email teams@hkarmy.com.
PTG Nation, what's going on? Thank you all so much for tuning in. It is Monday morning. We are back from the NXL Chicago Open, and my goodness, it was an insane weekend. Lots of great paintball. Tyler and myself got to duke it out in the semifinals. Tyler came out victorious, moved on to play Damage. Damage did end up taking down Houston Heat. We, on this episode, get to have Raney Stanczak on, and we drop some major news with serious implications for the season title, the race, and some of the top teams. You guys are going to want to hear this towards the end of our conversation with Rainey. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys, though. Tyler Harmon saved that game.
Came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
Yo, what up, everybody out there? It is Monday morning, right after the NXL Chicago event. We are tuning in, bringing you a show ASAP. We got Tyler Harmon, Marcelo Margot, obviously, both here. We had an epic semifinal battle for PTG land. And we have some awesome stuff for you on this show. We have some amazing news that's going to drop. Raney Stanczak, winner from Tampa Bay Damage, is going to be joining us here in a minute. But Ty, how you doing this morning, brother?
Oh my God, could be doing better. But, I'm definitely, very proud of our squad and hungry for World Cup. Mr. Marcello, it was PTG on PTG crime out there. And
it was a crime.
It was,
Yeah,
it was
a crime.
It was a
some would say a hate crime.
It was definitely an eventful tournament. Nobody saw the weather rolling in on Sunday quite like that.
Bro.
It was pretty crazy playing in the downpours that were rolling through out there, but it added to the zest, of the tournament and having to slush around in the mud out there.
Yeah, it's such a bummer because all weekend long I was like, let's move to Chicago. I want to move to Chicago. This is the best weather ever. I was like, this is unbelievable. It was like low 70s, crisp air, sunny. It was incredible. Best paintball weather you could imagine. And then Sunday was just terrible. It did get better throughout the afternoon, but Sunday morning was miserable. It's cold, raining, super muddy, sloshy. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I didn't even understand how we got from Friday and Saturday to what it was Sunday. It felt like we were in a time warp. Like we went to a different city or something. Like, what is going on here?
It was crazy.
So yeah, it was its own elements. You got to embrace it. It was definitely having fun.
Right.
What wasn't fun was the long break in between the games. Like the first match against the Russians, I was pumped. I was super excited about it. It was raining. It's coming down. It's slippery. That's sweet. Then you go on that long break and it's like, okay, this kind of sucks. You got to find ways to stay warm. Then, all right, finally, we're about to play Heat. All right, you get ready again. You're like, okay, this is going to be really fun. I'm ready for it. And it did clear up a little bit. It wasn't raining through our match, thank goodness, but it was still a little chilly.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was so muddy. I don't love the mud. Makes it difficult with, obviously just making moves and everything, and all the different things, everything. It just makes it difficult. The guns get messed up. There's puddles. I dove out to the snake corner one point, and I got so much mud in my goggles, my eyes, my mouth, and my gun. I was like, this is great. This is great.
Dude, talk to me about that juice box on the snake side. That entry juice box had a little mini pool in it. And I was just like sending it like Michael Phelps into the water every point out there. But there is a lesson to be. Yeah, that's right. There's a lesson to be learned there. And the mantra is kind of just like we talk about it, Marchie. Embrace the schlep, embrace the suck. You got to just like embrace it and kind of flip the switch in your brain and like weirdly like it. And then it changes the whole dynamic for not only yourself, but your teammates as well, when they can view you and everybody out there still sending it just as hard. Obviously, it didn't go the way that either of us wanted it to go for our teams, but there's a lot of progression, a lot of development, and the league is really thick right now. It is potent. There is so much talent at the top level of pro paintball right now, and it's very exciting to watch. So we're very thankful for Go Sports, NXL being able to debut these shows and have a great program for everyone to watch out there.
Yeah, man, 100%. There was some really high-level paintball being played all weekend long. Damage is obviously on a heater. Very excited to have Rainey on the show. Damage has won back-to-back events right now, and they're doing it just through a lot of discipline. They're suffocating their opponents, getting kills early, and then just not making mistakes. And that's old-school paintball. That's how teams won back in the day. Then it kind of evolved to this move-making game, where you had to make moves to win games because teams weren't making mistakes. But now I think teams are getting so caught up in trying to make moves that they are making mistakes. I mean, that's what happened to us against you guys. I firmly believe that. Few missed opportunities. You guys stole a couple points yourselves. You can't make these kind of mistakes, and Damage is kind of honing in on that near perfect paintball, which does become very hard to break, especially if you go down a couple points, which
that's
they did the same thing. They did the same thing to X factor in the semifinals as they did to you guys in the finals. They just earned those first few points, and then it's hard to dig them out. They're not going to make mistakes. They play really good team paintball. They understand the zones. They switch well. And then they do make the moves when necessary, right? Their timing on those moves is really elite. So they're playing some phenomenal paintball right now. I will say, I gotta say it was pretty funny, pretty awesome to break character for a moment after our first point. We were running by each other at the 50-yard line. And you were like, PTG, like under your breath. And we kind of high-fived, but hidden, It's like, damn. We haven't broken character like that in these matches in a long time. It felt good. Yeah.
Well, at the end of the day, you're my brother. There's no hiding that. And we're both we've applied our entire lives to this sport. Every day we think about this game, we train for this game, we're playing this game, we're out there doing the drills, we're out there doing the things that are necessary to be the best that we can be for the organizations we play for. And everyone in our camps is working really hard, and it's a really cool thing to see. It's great to see over the last couple of years. I don't want to say it's all because of PTG, but I think that we've had, a good helping hand in nudging the sport in the right direction of keeping players hungry out there, keeping them motivated on a weekly basis with, different insights from different players and organizations, coaches, teams, and really showing what paintball is all about. It's one of the most difficult sports I've ever played. I know everyone out there listening can agree it's a pretty difficult game to understand and really dissect all the layers. So having a platform like this to connect with everybody, share space for the love of the game, that's what it's all about. So we're always going to, I run by you, you getting a high five.
It wasn't like that for a while though, but I appreciate that too, because that's just the way it is. Like when you're inside those nets, I mean, you're so focused on one thing, and it's usually with your team, not you in particular. I'm just saying you in general, right? Like that's what it should be. That's the way we were raised. That's the way we grew up in this game is once we're inside those nets, it's a singular focus and you're my enemy. And at that time, it just is what it is. But I do love that we've gotten to a place where, and it's interesting. I do really believe in stages of life and stages of a career, stages of everything, right? You go through phases, and what was right for you when you were younger or in a certain part of your life isn't what's necessary or right at this part in your life or this part in your career. Just like the way that we prepare for events now, it looks different than when I was 20. It looks different than when I was 25. It looks different than when I was 15. You have to change and evolve, and that's okay. When I was younger, I was so hard-nosed on not wanting to talk to anybody other than my teammates when we were at the events. I would ignore people. I was kind of rude, honestly. I wasn't there to make any friends, and I didn't care. And now it's much more different. We've been doing this for almost 20 years in the professional division. We've seen so many of these players for so long. They are your friends outside of the nets. We're all part of this big, great community. And I've found a way now to where that does not deter from my competitiveness or my ability to compete at the highest level, right? It's an addition, actually. I realize, it's an addition. Like I can joke around with my friends from other teams in between matches, and, it's not a distraction. When I was younger, it certainly would have been a distraction because there's other factors that you're worried, you have to take into account, like maybe intimidation or some nerves. When you're younger, like, you need to do everything you can to keep yourself in the zone because you're going up against the Titans. Well, things kind of change when I'm not going to call myself a Titan, but when you're in the group of players that other players in the league kind of fear or are looking to like that, it just changes. And so you can have a little more fun and it doesn't distract you. If anything, it kind of lightens the mood and maybe makes you play better. Right. But it's 100% changed over the years. And now I look at players. Sorry, Ty, I see you want to, my last thing here. No. I look at players, younger players that mimic maybe what we do now, and they're not as hard-nosed, and it bothers me, right? I'm like, hey, this isn't how you should be preparing right now. I'm like, well, look what you're doing over there. I'm like, do as I say, not as I do. You didn't see what I was doing when I was your age. It's a little different. There's just phases of things. There's phases of life. There's phases of careers, and things should evolve. They should change. You have to find different ways to stay motivated and be at your best, but it's about figuring out how to get the best out of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Well, best believe you are a Titan. I'll let you know that. And just so everybody out there knows, you better believe we got that dog in us when we out there. It's like There's nothing that's going to get in
No
between
doubt.
the ferocity of what I'm trying to bring to the field, what I'm trying to bring to my opponent. That's already that's coming. That's going to be headed their way. So, for me to run by my best friend and give him a high five, that's nothing to me, because it's just it's a game of passion and heart and love, and
Ooh.
we all have some big love for the game. Your camera's been going in and out here, Marchie. What's going
Yeah, I
on?
don't know what I don't know what's going on. I don't know if one of the cords is messed up or what, but I think we're good.
Yeah, it's good. It just went for a second.
Oh, our guest is free. He's ready.
He's free.
He's ready.
Unleashed.
Yeah, it's time, dude. We
Unleash him.
finally got the unicorn. This is the unicorn of all media.
We've had him
Like-
for a segment once before, but just for a little one.
Did we?
Yeah, just for a moment we had him. Only for like 15
When?
minutes. It was an episode. I mean, it was a while ago. I can't remember which
Bro,
episode.
are you sure?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, we got to ask him. I don't know. I don't think we've ever gotten Rainey on the show.
All right, we're going to find out right now.
Yeah, we got to ask him. All right, let's call him.
Ring Timmy.
What's up, dude?
The champ.
Yo.
The champ.
How we doing, dude? Am I live here?
You're live. You're live. We're
You're
on
live.
the air.
Let's do it, dude. How we doing?
Well, we're not as good as you right now, but we're really stoked to have you on the show.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm pumped to be on the show. Got a little bit of a hangover, but I'm here. I'm alive.
Yeah, dude, Rain, man, we really appreciate it. We know for the listeners, Rainey literally just landed back in San Diego. They obviously won the event yesterday. Rainey, you were a huge part of that win throughout the entire weekend, especially on Sunday. Just some huge moments. But to get you on the show, fresh off the victory, we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, dude. Love what you guys do. Glad to be on the show. And yeah, man, feels good to get the dub, dude.
Hell yeah, man. What was last night looking like? What did you get into?
So like, I mean, a lot of people just had to disappear. So most of the guys got on flights and were like, I don't think even Jacob showered. I think he just like went to the hotel, grabbed his stuff, muddy and all. He disappeared. Keith, Chris Warren, most of them all had to leave. So it's like me, Brian Smith, Jason, Joey, Mike Sola, who used to play on the team, who helps pit, and this guy Sam, who helps pit. We all went across the street and grabbed a couple drinks and food. They had a flight out of Midway. I had a flight out of O'Hare, so I booked a hotel right next to O'Hare, and there's a casino next door. So actually, me and Sam, the pit guy, we went over to the casino until about 2 a.m, gambling, had a few drinks. Yeah, and then I couldn't sleep, so I kind of went and reanalyzed some of the games last night, and I probably fell asleep like 3:34 and hopped on the 10 a.m. flight.
Damn, dude, I love that. I love the fact that you won the tournament and you're still reanalyzing games, thinking about paintball. What was it that you wanted to look at?
Well, so like I realized I kept getting shot going to that juice box, whatever the door was, only when I was left-handed. And I realized I was getting shot after I dove. So I was falling short on my dives. When I was going left-handed, I think I was taking one less step than I was going right-handed. And I mean, people still had to make great shots to make it, but I would always get hit after I dove. That was one thing I noticed. And then against you guys, Tyler, you guys were teeing up on us going snake side. It was right after that point. So we ran Keith to the juice box because he's much faster. And I was like, let me shoot from home delay to that snake temple. And I went under your paint and I was like, man, I thought I was in there and I didn't need to like pull out slide because I didn't want to overslide it. But Ronnie was in that Dorito wedge shooting the cross shot. So as I was like gathering myself, he smoked me in the head of the pack. So if I honestly would have just kept running, I could have gone all the way to snake and just beat, rush through that danger zone and probably had a better chance. So just kind of looking at those things, just nitpicking stuff.
Yeah, because I think Connor got shot out of that temple right after you too. So if you would have kept going to the snake, you would have owned that whole side.
Yeah. And then like again, my momentum would have carried me and I would have been going through that zone. And like that was something we did a bunch at practice because, we didn't know going into the event if people were going to be able to make the snake as freely as they were making it. So we, had a couple contingency plans to be like, all right, well, if we can't make it out wide or tough, let's practice people shooting from home and making it quick to lay out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you played tremendous out there, Rainey, and congratulations once again to you and Damage on the victory. It's going to be a very exciting World Cup. The top 3 teams in the world get a bye into Sunday, which is going to be Dynasty,
Us 3
Damage, and Heat. That'll be playing on Sunday, and we'll be playing a round robin going into Sunday. So it's going to be really awesome for us all to like duke it out before World Cup as well. And before I get into that, I do want to kind of help the listeners out because a bunch of the listeners are going to be playing this layout. So I kind of want to dive into some little, bits of information for the listeners that they can use when they play their local events. There's no secret that the Snake was a powerhouse. The Dorito side had its moments when you could really attack and press. And there was a bunch of bunkers in the middle. But you guys played a really classic style of just smart, damn near perfect paintball, man, making shots off the break, not making very many mistakes, and being there up in points and playing appropriately. So just for the listeners out there, what's like sorry, my voice is always just torched after a tournament. What is,
Yeah.
you know how it goes. What is a key little a trick that you could let the listeners in on? We're not going to be playing the layout, obviously, that they can use to help them.
So I think there's a few ways you can play that door on that snake side. Like you can boogie there when you're up points and play the cross. And when they're going to probably launch it around that Dorito corner or try to go to that 500 brick.
Yep.
But one of the advantages of going there and playing real quick off the break heads up is you get to see I feel like some of the times I'd play the cross early on in the tournament and then be lost on the snake side. So towards the end of the tournament, I'd try to go there and play heads up real quick and see if they made it out wide, see if we lost our guy, and then also get on the advantage of getting on that gunfight. Because I think some of the points we'd lose Keith, that's the odd time they did that, but I would just kind of already be out there winning that gunfight and wheel and deal to the corner. And then once you got to the corner, I felt like a lot of people had to dominate the wire, but just being there alive, was so crucial because, if you're trying to dominate the wire, you got shots coming in from the Dorito side. So just sometimes just being there for a good 2-3 minutes and allowing Jason and Jacob to get kills and get in the game and just me not forcing the issue too much. So I think for the listeners out there, if you're struggling on the snake side, getting out wide and you don't have a speed demon, just put your gun dominant player in that juice box playing heads up, and he can kind of void the paint off the break and make his fill within the first 8 or 9 seconds and still be on the wire to contest people from just coming down and murdering you.
Oh, absolutely. Because that snake is potent. If they get in there off the break and there's nobody out wide or you don't have a snake player, you are in big trouble on this field. And also the cool thing about that jukebox. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, you're right. You're better off you're better off forcing the move and dying than sitting there and waiting in the juice box for someone to come up and blast you in the back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But a lot of snake players wouldn't play it that way. They would get in the snake, even on the pro field. There'd be nobody in front of them, and they want to be in the snake 2, snake 3, looking inside, trying to shoot little pieces of packs on the opposite side of the field. It's like the forbidden fruit, right? It's stop, quit giving away your position. Just get down, crawl all the way down, shoot the people on your side of the field that are right in front of you, and you're going to shoot that forbidden fruit. You're going to pick the forbidden fruit at the very end. That's going to be the last person you shoot. It's an easy game.
Yeah, they'll be there. They'll still be there at the end. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Head in the mud.
Also, yes, it was crazy on Sunday. The juice box on the snake side. Also, if you're playing heads up, you have an opportunity to shoot the snake player if they do make it off the break over that first beam. You can, depending on how they slide into that or crawl around that very first mini W, you can have an opportunity to get that player as well. So there's great crossfield shots and some great heads up shots.
Yeah, also depends on how much it rains. That was one thing I did try to key up on too, is I'd sprint out there and try to shoot the over the top shot because you notice people running and diving the snake had no control of how far they're sliding. So you may have a chance. And I think we may have caught that dude once or twice that way.
Absolutely.
Raney, You are known for being one of the most cerebral players in the game. Always have been, always one of the smartest. You have taken on a role as a coach now as well. What does your preparation look like leading into these things? Is it more physical and are you trying to get in a lot of drills, or do you spend more time thinking about the field, maybe on guns up, looking at the field and imagining different situations and moves? What would you say?
So like once the layout comes out, the last few events I've kind of like changed some of my habits in my life. Not going to divulge all the secrets, but
Of course.
I definitely like those 15 days like really focus on like just thinking about the layout, like not trying to focus. Like before, I used to just focus on doing one thing over and over and over, but then you get to the layout and somebody takes it away. So now like going there and just trying to learn what everything can do with just like in a quick rundown. So that way, when I get to the tournament, I can kind of see what people have learned, what people are coming with, what's their curve, what's their fast. Rather than just beat myself up. The older we get, the smarter we got to be about the time we spend on the field. Going out there and beating myself up 75 points during a weekend doesn't make sense when I could go out there and play 3 here, 3 there, 3 there, and then get to the event and be like, oh, guess what? We can't make the snake. So me shooting the snake gap 100 times is useless. Or
Totally.
Just trying to be open-minded. And sometimes I think the older we get, the more willing we are to let our ego go on some of the concepts and just kind of be willing to flip on some things that we thought were right. Now they're actually wrong.
That's funny. Right before we called you, I was speaking to exactly this, how our preparation and the things that we do to get ourselves ready for events, it's evolved. It's changed over time, right? All 3 of us, we're veterans, and in any other sport by our age, we would definitely be considered veterans, and we would have load management and the rest days and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, the way that I prepared at 20 looks totally different than the way that I prepare now, but it doesn't mean that I'm any less ready. If anything, I think I'm more ready because I could be much more efficient with my time, and you have the experience in knowing like the ways and the things that you absolutely need to do. And then you are also healthy. You're also fresh. That's such a big part of it.
No, 100%. Like you could be 20 years old and just beat yourself up over and over on the thing 50 times. I'm like, you know what? I tell them, I'm like, I got one stick running me a day. I got one in me a day. And so I get it one in, and towards the end of the day, I go have my fun and glory, and that's it. No matter how well it goes, I'm not risking it again.
It's like our off weekend practices with the boys. We're like, all right, we got like 7 or 8 points today. Let's make them really good. Let's make them high quality. And then we're out of there. That's it. Go get some Everbowl and then call it a wrap.
Yeah, right. That's it. No more. That's it. You got a pitch count.
Yeah, exactly.
Get through those pitches and you're done for the day.
Yeah, 100%. Hey,
Yo, Rainey.
Rainey.
I just wanted to hit on something that you said.
Okay.
You talked about, obviously your preparation is a little bit different, but the cerebral side is obviously where paintball is at right now. It's outsmarting your opponents. It's making good decisions and being prepared for anything out there. And I loved what you said about playing every position when you practice. Most teams practice to win. Their ego, like you said, they can't get out of the way of the ego. The ego is just controlling the team. They feel like they have to win. They're not getting the right reps if they're not winning in practice. Whereas you're stating, it's not about the win. It's about seeing everything, knowing the situations, knowing how a seam is going to play out on a Dorito side or a snake side or the middle, and being able to walk through those like in your shoes, through your eyes, and see it yourself. Whereas most players won't do that type of work. They won't go into those areas and play those areas, not even 1 point or a couple points throughout a practice. So I think it's really tremendous what you said there about just taking it on the chin. Maybe it's not about the win, but it's about walking through positions, seeing it for yourself. That way, when you get to a tournament, you have a really well-rounded look at what they're going through and what you can do to support and help in those situations.
No, 100%. And like we played the Killers, who are a semi-pro team who's the 3rd ranked. I think they lost an early match on Sunday to Blast Camp. We played Mutiny and we played Growl, all semi-pro teams. And on Saturday, I mean, they were beating us up, and it was because we stopped running the snake. We just tried to play from the pocket, and it's frustrating when you think a team that you're better than is just going down there and beating you up, and they're having fun. And you're like, this hurts. This hurts the ego, and all you want to do is rip teeth of the snake. I get out to the corner, power jam that snake, and just shoot everybody up in the back like 15 times. But it's like, you're not going to learn. You're not going to get max value out of your practice doing that.
Yeah, that's a tremendous bit of information. We were talking about it on the webcast too. I was up there with Mike Bianca, and they were talking about practices and how some of these other teams were talking about how great their practices went, but then they have terrible showings and they don't know why. First thing I said was, well, they're probably not being honest with themselves in practice. Are you getting bounced going to the corners? Are you looking at what could go wrong in your wins in practice? And exactly, if you're making the snake and the snake corner every point in practice, and you're having success, well, maybe what's going to happen if you run into a team that takes that away? Are you still going to be able to win? Because if the answer is no, then you didn't prepare properly and you weren't honest with yourself. So, having the foresight to prepare for those things in practice is something all the top teams do and are aware of. The experienced players understand that, but that's a huge, huge part of it for sure.
No, 100%.
Rainey, you were doing one of the best jobs out of all the players at just timing getting out to the corner or getting into the snake. If you lost, if you would lose Keith, no problem. You'd get into the snake, or you'd get to the corner and stop the bleeding. Make some. By the way, everybody, Rain Man's in the airport right now. I think he's probably going through baggage claim. We got action.
Yeah, can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Just picked up the big old 70-pound bag right now, soaked in mud and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I felt so bad bringing it. So I got my flight change yesterday to last night. And I brought my gear bag, and I tried to wipe it off a little bit at the hotel, but the poor lady at the Delta counter goes to pick it up, and she dropped it, and her hand was all muddy. And I was like, I am so sorry. Meanwhile, I was like supposed to be going standby, so I was like, please don't screw me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it was all good.
So here's a pro tip secret for anybody out there. So this may not be the best thing to do in life, but if you're gonna clean your beer bag, grab a towel from the hotel, hand towel, get it wet, wipe down your bag. But the pro tip: keep the towel. Don't leave the evidence. They don't keep track how many towels are in there. But if you leave the towel, they're going to charge you for the towel.
I always leave the towel.
That the hard way.
I always leave the towel. I've never been charged.
Okay. Well, sometimes if you torch that towel real bad, they'll be upset. So every once in a while, I just take the evidence, throw it in the bag, and call it a day.
It's also bad because usually the towel will be wet and muddy, and you leave it in the bathroom, and so it looks like it's something else for sure. And I'd be pretty upset
exactly
too if I was a house cleaner. But where was I going with that though beforehand? Oh, on the fills. Again, I know Keith got the event MVP and Jacob finals MVP. I mean, that one-on-one was huge. The timing was huge. But going into that final match, Rainey, did you guys have any sort of different game plan based on heat, or did you guys just kind of stick with what was working for you guys? To me, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like your game plan is so solid and everybody is so comfortable in that role. It's like, let's kill a couple bodies and go from there. But how did the scouting look playing heat in the finals?
So we saw heat a lot. Like, I feel like Tyler, you and I, we had split decks, like every match. Like, I feel like you guys were playing right during our game. And I always noticed that, like, anytime you guys decided you wanted to win a point, you would go win a point, right? 13 seconds, 30 seconds, you impose your will. So while that was going on, every time I was just like in the back of my head, I'm like, you guys, no offense to Marcel, but I was like, I thought heat looked the best. I thought heat looked the best during the weekend. And I was like, man, if we're playing them, they're going to do this to us. So, I feel like we scouted for that particular style when the situation of the game came down to where there's 30 seconds, down a point, we're up a point, or a minute and 15, they're down or they're up a point. And, we've been playing you guys all year, Tyler, and you guys have scored up those quick points on us. So we definitely went prepared with that. But the initial breakout, we kind of just stuck to our basic. There's a few points where I would shoot from home and go up the middle. We did a couple of variations of that. But yeah, we pretty much just stuck to everything the same. The only thing we changed is once they keyed up on Keith, that's when we would send Keith to the corner and I would slither underneath, or we'd have Keith go short and I would win up to that center juice box, I think the very last point, and just walk off the Dorito side. So, I mean, we kind of just stuck to what we were doing, but we had contingency plans.
Of course.
If like they were shooting us, and then we also had, if we were down points, what we had to do. I watched X Factor kind of showed us something that was kind of sneaky. When they pushed the Dorito side, they had Colt. I don't know if Colt purposely did this, but he's a crafty veteran, so I'll give him credit for it. He walked off in front of one of the lanes to that 50 brick while LJ ran the corner. So that kind of created like a window for them to get in there, even with the guy in a cross gun. So kind of had those type of plays in the back of our head if we needed to do something.
It's funny, Rainey. I noticed the same thing watching Heat. And we recently have just had a ton of close matches with them, overtime matches. And I was like, look, if we're in a situation where there's 35 seconds on the clock or 40 seconds on the clock, a situation where we're tied, that's the time. And most teams would say, let's just kind of play for overtime. Heat's going for the win. So be ready for that. I don't know if that's quite what you're referring to, but every single time,
100%.
Yeah, totally.
They're coming.
They're coming. They're going for the win. So I was like, okay.
And I feel like,
yeah,
those dudes, they're moving and moving and shooting and like shake and bake. It's
right.
like, it's just like, it's so dangerous if you just decide to sit in 5 spots, because now you're sitting in 5 spots and you have 5 dudes with the best running and gunning that know exactly where you're at and have done those shots. So if you sit there, you're almost just like going to lose. You have to fight fire with fire.
Yeah, totally. Ty, now I gotta ask you, brother, how was the scouting going into play Damage? To me, Damage plays the most difficult style to win against, because if they're executing well, there's minimal risk. So you don't get free bodies off the break and they don't make mistakes. So it's a really difficult thing to game plan for if they're executing it well. Right. And it's a tough style to execute at that level. What was your guys' mindset going into that match, since you guys were playing a lot more aggressive?
Yeah, definitely. We, like Rainey said, we're playing at the same time frames as each other throughout the weekend. So able to watch a lot of paintball, of Damage, and they just play so consistent with that kind of a baseline pocket with an attack somewhere, or they'll have some type of movement, and it's not quite ever the same. They're really good at making those audibles, making those quick game time decisions that really matter in those moments. So we knew that they were going to play, the Dorito Tower, double up middle, have the juice box, probably send Keith wide, and then break out from there and start to play paintball according to how the game developed. So we just had to play, a little bit better ball. They got ahead in the game and really controlled the pace really well. And they got the W, and hats off to them. They're playing really well right now. And it just adds to the fire, World Cup is going to be World Cup's going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah, can't wait.
There's 24 teams at Cup.
24, I think. Yeah. So us 3 and the Tauntauns will get a bye. Ooh, we have some spicy news that we're going to share with you, Rainey. If you got like 10 more minutes, we got some Discord questions. We just want to ask some Discord questions. We're going to ask some Discord questions really quick, and then right before we let you go, we'll share the crazy news. It's pretty nuts. But yeah,
it'll be, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
I think I may have a guess.
Yeah, I think you do. Us 4 will be in that like first round bye. So we play each other just for seeding, which is such an advantage because we get to play high level teams with no risk of getting knocked out. So you get to experiment, you get to really hone in on stuff.
I disagree. Like, you guys won last year, and congrats, right? But I think the teams that had the bye almost had a disadvantage, where when you're playing at World Cup and you're only playing 3 games, right? The games matter more now. So immediately out of the gate, you're having the death sweat, right? Like, you lose a match and that could be it. So you're already like programming, you're already in that mode. So now by the time you face one of these teams that have a bye, you've played 4 or 5 matches for your freedom. Whereas that team has maybe now only played 1.
Rainey, no. So that was only because we lost a day. The teams are still going to play 4 prelim matches. They won't play 3.
Okay.
Yeah, that was because we lost a day at Cup. I still see your point.
Still applies. It still kind of applies.
It does still kind of apply. I would argue the other side, though, that again, like this last event, we didn't get tested until Sunday, you know, and yeah, we played the Russians, but the Russians have been pretty weak all year. I mean, they look good this event, but still, like, we didn't really get tested. You know, our bracket was, you know, Uprising. NYX was our toughest game. We had ML Kings and Austin Notorious. So you don't see like some of the Titans, right? And then all of a sudden you run into a team where your mistakes, they cost you. Where in this scenario, like, you do get to see it and it's kind of non-consequential. So if you're honest with it, you can really learn from it. I personally would prefer that. I 100% see what you're saying too, where on the other end, it's like, you could be in a situation where you're, 2-1 and you have to win the final match. And that pressure's on you. I get that. Personally, I'm going to take playing against the top teams and seeing, you know, where you're at there and getting the test early. Yeah, anyway, it's I think it's amazing how they do the entire thing, because now World Cup, whoever wins this one is pretty much going to win the series, unless it's like one of the 20th place teams that wins Cup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So definitely like that.
And there's $40,000 on the line as well. So
yeah,
huge prize package for the World Cup.
Yeah, Rainey, one of the questions from the Discord. This is actually from Dylan Boyum. Shout out to the Bruiser. Rainey, if there was a paintball sports book, what would the odds look like for Damage winning World Cup?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. So Noel Tran, he posts on Facebook the odds, and he gave Dynasty and us the same odds of plus 200. I looked at some of the teams on there. I remember off the top of my head, the Russians were like, I like the Russians because they're plus 1750. I think AC Diesel is like plus 800, which means all these plus numbers mean like you bet 100, you win 800. You bet 100, you win 200. So it's like 2-1, 8-1.
Sick. Yeah.
All the teams come, like, I think the worst odd team was like plus 5,000. So you got 50 to 1 odds.
Dude,
so
Russians are a good bet. Let's put some money on the Russians.
Dude, 100%. Like, I mean, like the Russians, they look good, a lot better this event. You know, they look dangerous.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would, and then I think somebody told us, because I think they just got approved for legalized paintball betting in Colorado. And that was the first state is what I've been hearing. And then once one state comes, all the states are going to come. And they told us that Damage was 8 plus 850. So 8.5 to 1 odds to win the last event.
Damn.
Call me Pete Rose. I would have probably bet on us.
We're not allowed to though, right? Is that in our contracts yet?
I think I definitely think you're not allowed to, but who says a cousin can't do it or something?
I don't think there's any rules against it so far. I haven't seen any contract. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Don't audio clip this and get me arrested.
Yeah. Timestamp 3743.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff, dude. All
right, Rain. I got one from Zinger PB. Rainey, what was it like seeing the Halo back out on the pro field? Did you have any desire to add a drop forward to your marker and wear a 4XL jersey?
Luckily, I never rocked the drop forward, really. But the Halo, they sent us the Halos 2 weeks ago, and I think Marcelo saw me using it. And dude, those things hum. Those things hum, and they kept up.
They work.
And dude, you could turn that. I think there was a picture of Jason shooting his gun sideways at one point, and it's just feeding paintballs in there. I didn't have one single issue with the Halo. The only thing that was downfall is you notice how the angle of where you load compared to any other loader where it's just straight down took me a couple weekends to learn to aim it correctly. Right? Sometimes you just put it straight down and you need to kind of tilt it a little. And then taking it apart to clean it is probably the biggest issue. But honestly, dude, those loaders hum. I didn't have a single issue throughout all the weekends practicing with it. And, I just had 2 in my bag, one with a speed feed, one with a lid. And, when it rained, it came in handy. So, I mean, dude, those things, it was fun to use it,
Dude, it reminded me of 2004 Oakland Assassins. I was having flashbacks.
Yeah, dude, that's what somebody. Yeah, somebody's like everything's coming back from the old age.
All right, we got Jay Lamb. Rainey, I consider you one of, if not the most intelligent players in the sport. What are some things players can do to sharpen the IQ?
Sharpen the IQ. Well, I mean, obviously watching game footage can really help you, but I think like one of the things I read a long time ago about poker was, making the best decisions you can make off the field will translate you making good decisions on the field. Because he said, how do you expect to make bad decisions off the felt, which is the poker table, and then all of a sudden just decide to make good decisions on the felt, right? So just from the simplest things of waking up, what you eat, what you put in your body, what you do you stretch? And if you can just make these like good decisions throughout the course of your day and the course of your week and month, I think that will make you a more intelligent person on the field because, instead of just saying F it and going for it, you'll maybe pause and look over and be like, all right, Tyler, this is what's going on, right? Like you'll make the good decision to talk to your teammates. So I think that can be a big factor in life.
Damn, dude. Awesome. Love that.
Yeah, that's gold. That's gold.
Absolute gold.
Sure. All right. We got Brief. Congrats on the dub, Rain Man. Where did you adopt your paintball style, specifically pulling up your pant legs?
Oh, well, if you notice, I wasn't able to do that for the rain because the pants were too heavy and muddy and fall down. The pant style came. I would use when I was on X Factor. I would sometimes stay out there for like the entire course of the 2 weeks, and I would go to the gym. I'd be doing some stretching, doing some like working out, and I'd hike my sweatpants up just because it just give you more slack, right? If you ever notice people when they break out, they'll sometimes pull their pants up. Yeah, to get rather so your pants aren't tight at a weird spot. So then I was doing that while working out, and I went to the field that day and I'm training by myself. And then I was like, oh, this makes sense. This is like why baseball players do it. So then it just became a thing, and I just kind of stuck with it, and it just makes sense to me. So now it's like a comfort thing.
Nice.
I do as well. Like before each point, I definitely pull my pant legs up before I get into my stance to break out, because I can get my leg up a little bit higher and it gives me more power off the breakout for sure.
Exactly. Now think about it. Now let's say you wanted to make that explosive move from the corner, and you're just like, you're not going to have time to hike your pants up to make that, that attack to the snake. So like now your pants are already in ready attack mode.
Dude, you need to come out with a pair of pants that are like that and just call them attack mode.
Attack mode. I like it.
Attack mode. Nice. All right. Oh, I had a good one here. Where was it?
Yo, and let me just say, if you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? The Discord is popping. You get to ask all of your favorite guest questions and have fun with the community. So hop in there if you get a chance, check it out.
Oh yeah. Okay, Mark Paris, and this is my last question from the Discord. Rainey, you've almost completed an entire season on Damage. Is there anything Damage does different from teams you've played on in the past that you think attributes to all the success you've had this year?
I do. We play a lot of one-on-ones. Like it's crazy because like we'll play one-on-ones right when the sale comes out, and you play one side of the field one-on-ones, another side of the field one-on-ones, and it helps you learn the field, right? Like it helps you be creative. Like you're never gonna play this pin in a 5-on-5 like point, but like in the one-on-one you learn its value. So maybe in these like 13-second points, 14-second points where you see Fedorov sprinting on the field and doing all these odd things, playing all these odd bunkers, like you'll learn the value of that pin, right? Like, yeah, maybe that pin isn't good to be in there more than 8 seconds. Well, guess what? You only got 14 to work with. That pin now can shoot the baby across field. So doing those one-on-ones, we do 2-on-2s, and we just do half field. And I really think that helps us break down the field really quickly. If you remember, Marcelo, Ironman used to do something similar when the layout came out.
Yeah.
Like when they were on those championship runs, they do 3-on-3s, right? And just 3-on-3 here, 3-on-3 here. Now you've painted the picture of the field, and now you can start plugging in what happens when you get 2 extra bodies.
Totally. Yeah, I think there's a ton of value in that. I all of the practices that we organize or that I do when I coach the divisional teams, it's 1-on-1s, 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s. It's huge, crucial. And it also it just puts the weight on your back. The 1-on-1s are huge because it teaches you to just win yourself. Like you have to be the guy to win. You can't rely on a teammate. You can't hide behind somebody. You either win or you lose.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
something
then
to it.
also it helps when you're battling Jacob every weekend and he's one-on-one. You're like, all right. Then you start battling other people, like, oh, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah, he's been on fire.
Yeah.
We got Inspired Paintball. Rainey, congrats on the win. You are, in my opinion, one of the most dynamic and crafty players in the league. Do you feel your style is influenced by older formats and older legends of the game? Did Woods Ball have an influence on this at all?
100%. You know, like I have like a really good memory, and I can remember things that Todd Martinez, your coach, Tyler, that has told me and has stuck with me throughout my paintball career. You know, I've gotten to see players like John Richardson. You know, any weekend I was struggling, I would just go, what is JR doing? I go watch what he's doing, and I just copy it. I go like, I'm gonna go do what he's doing exactly in the field. So being able to like be around those dudes and just see what they did, you know, definitely influenced that in my game. And, you know, I started in the woods and then went to, you know, airball and then playing 7-man. So I always loved 7-man, and I always played, you know, stupid little games to run around, sneaking around. So it's like, sometimes that's, you know, what I'm doing in next ball, you know, just trying to sneak around and find shots.
That's it, dude.
Nice. Rain, man, you ready for this news?
Let's hear it.
Ooh.
Axel quit Impact.
Knew it. I knew he was gonna play a tauntaun.
I knew that too. I knew it all year. I felt it. It makes sense. But when Axel went to Impact, they said like, because he asked if he could play for Tauntauns at World Cup, and they were like, no, under no circumstances. You're either with us or you're not. And then they had like a team meeting, I guess, and we're not gonna give up the source, but pretty reliable source. And I guess Axel just quit, said, sorry, I'm playing World Cup with Tauntauns.
I didn't know. I just, when you said it, I was like, I bet Axel plays with Tauntauns at Cup. Because like, they just won the thing. He's playing with this dude.
Right.
I mean, you know, maybe he's done his 2 years coming to the U.S. This is a complete hypothesis. He's just like, you know what? I don't really want to maybe come back next year. He's like, you know what? I'm playing with my boys at Cup.
Right. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his team. Like that team is so close to his heart. That is his team, the Tauntauns. So it makes sense to me. I get it. And it'll definitely help them too. I'm curious to see how they do.
Yeah, I think he flourishes under that their style, right? Like they need that guy that's kind of wheeling and dealing. And when you're playing with those dudes, you're going to play with a little more freedom and recklessness.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was cool seeing him out there in France doing his thing, and now we'll get to see him at World Cup. So, Rainey, what do you think? What does this mean for Impact?
Man, they're like lacking a body on this, obviously now on the snake side, and I was like thinking about people who could like replace them and like what move I would make. I'm not gonna say what it is, but yeah, I mean like that does hurt. But I mean they haven't really been spinning Zupa, so Zupa can plug in. They do still have JC, but yeah, they are lacking a snake player.
Yeah, they just lost Mouse and J-Rab, and now with the loss of Axel. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Easy decision. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. JC could play the snake. He's done it well.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I was watching him play the snake on that Thursday practice, wheeling and dealing.
Well, and it's tough too because they can't pick anybody up from any other teams before World Cup because rosters are locked. So it'd have to be a semi-pro player.
You're right. The rosters are locked. So nothing's going to happen now. So which means with Axel gone, this could be another spicy offseason coming up.
You know it's gonna be, dude. Come on, you know it's gonna be.
Always a good time. Always a good time.
I can't wait. Hey, Rain, man. Last question for me because I was unsure. I thought you had not been on PTG before. Tyler thinks that you'd been on for like 15 minutes in the past. Have you been on the show?
Yes, I was on. So we forget so quickly. I was on when I made the move to Damage. You guys had Jacob on. I came in right after Jacob.
Oh, yeah. Damn it.
We had him for a moment.
Dude.
Yeah.
Good job, Ty. I suck.
You won the bet, Ty. Don't bet against Tyler.
Well, I didn't bet. I try not to bet unless I'm sure. And I wasn't sure. But I was like, no, I thought we got the unicorn. We finally got the unicorn.
Well,
maybe I've just been so excited. Yeah, this is like the longest we've had him. That's for sure.
for sure.
Been so excited to get Rain Man on, dude. You give just great insight, and a lot of people are always asking to hear from you. So,
and even the first time he came on was only for like 15 minutes. You know, he was like, I'm in and out.
I would say I give it about a little. I'd say over 30 minutes.
Was it? Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
So how long have you been sitting with your bags in the airport now?
I've been pacing around by the like the little art area right by the front door for about let's look at my phone here, 20, 25 minutes. But I mean, I still got to go. I got to go to call the Wally Park people to come pick me up and go to get my car out of parking and then drive up to Carlsbad. So nice. I'm in no rush to do that.
What are your plans for the next couple weeks and then heading into World Cup?
I know somebody's hit me up to do 10-man. I probably won't do that. Probably a lot of gambling. I was, up early this morning when the market woke up. A lot of trading, nice. A lot of beach. Nice. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Let's get some beach days in. I know we talked about it a little bit, but let's get some beach days in. We're going to be heading into winter here pretty soon. So.
Oh, dude, there's no winter here in San Diego. It's actually nice.
I'm the best time to go to the beach because no one's there and it's sunny. It's amazing.
Yes. The last few months have been miserable because I go to the beach and there's everyone there.
I was trying not to say it on the show because now all 10 million people that listen to the show are going to be there.
Nah, never will. They don't know the secret spots.
Facts.
Dude, Rainey, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. And once again, congrats to you in Tampa Bay.
Congrats.
Enjoy and be safe out there, brother.
Thanks, Tyler, man. That was a good game, dude. You guys were playing real awesome. And honestly, that was like the team in the back of my head. I'm like, man, we're going to play Heat and this is going to be a grind. And, I tell anyone, when you get to the finals, it's really a coin flip, right? Because both teams, whoever in the finals are on their game. So it's, who's getting the lucky shots off the break and kind of just having things fall their way.
Yep. Well, hey, you guys got it done. And we look forward to a very exciting World Cup. And we'll see you in just a few weeks. I mean, World Cup's only 7-8 weeks out. So we'll be back at it here again soon.
Yep. See you guys soon.
All right, brother.
Thanks for having me.
All right, brother.
Later.
Thanks, Rainey.
All right.
Like.
Choo, Rain Man.
Dude, unicorn.
Epic. Unicorn. The unicorn.
Double unicorn. We got him. That's crazy about Axel. Definitely interested I'm sure there's going to be more news circulating here out in the next week or so in regards to that. Watch out for the paintball troll. I'm sure he's going to be going ham on the internet, having some fun as he has been. Have you been following the troll ski?
A little bit. I feel like I've seen a few things in the last couple of days. What did I see? I don't even remember. As stuff goes, let's see. I'm pulling it up right now. What has he got?
Yo,
paintball troll or pro paintball troll?
I think pro paintball troll is a little more active.
No, dude, his last thing is August 14th. Yeah, so I think in the last couple of days it's been paintball troll that I've seen. He's got 4 new posts. Right. This one was pretty funny, the Latin Saints one. Impact and X Factor start shooting with 30 seconds left, so I guess you can say things are getting pretty serious. Oh, that was that long point.
Oh, that game. Dude, that game was crazy.
That game was
because
crazy, dude.
The 0-1 took Diesel out,
Right.
Which
is that not fixing games? Is that not fixing games?
Yeah. But
I
don't know
come
if
on,
it was
Impact.
premeditated, because they were just out there. I guess it was in their brain already, so they already knew.
No, of course it was premeditated. You can't prove it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It was premeditated. If we go down 1-0, we get into a point and we just sit. We just don't go try to win the point. X Factor will probably be, you can't blame X Factor. They were up a point. So of course they're going to sit. They have no reason to go, right? Impact has to go try to win the game. So
dude, it was like 5 minutes with not a single paintball fired.
Yeah, it was so funny when the first paintball got fired. Everyone cheered. Did someone get shot? No, they just shot a paintball. That's part of the game, though. It is part of the game, right? And that's also that's the benefit of being able to play the last game. You understand if you lose, how much you need to lose by in order to make it on. But to manipulate a score to affect another team, I do think that's against the rules. Not totally positive. Can't prove it anyway. So
prove it.
Who cares? Who cares?
Prove
Prove it.
it.
Oh, man.
It's funny. Yo, shout out to
Well,
the Goat Squad. We also have a goat show next week. So if you want to hop in the Discord, we're going to be having every month we do an exclusive PTG Goat show for the members, giveaway prizes, nonstop shenanigans and madness in there that we can't necessarily put live on the air this way. So it's like a really cool space. If you want to head into there, you can go to the website, check it out on our Patreon, and join the Goat Squad.
yeah, this is where all these great questions come in. And actually, Ty, someone just posted another question, so I'm going to read it because it's for you. Patty Rice wants to know, Tyler, he has been right there this event and throughout the season. What do you do to stay in a mentally positive space and also keep pushing when it feels like you know you're one of the top teams and players, but you aren't lifting that trophy? Do you and the Heat guys hype each other up in between to work harder, or do you spend some time this week kind of evaluating the tape and what you can do to grow and learn from?
That's a really thoughtful question, Patty Rice. The number one thing is just remember to be grateful and be humble and be passionate for your craft. You know, obviously, we're right there. I'm extremely proud of the organization, Houston Heat as a whole. And thank you to everybody out there who supports Houston Heat. Thank you to, Yeah. Thank you, Todd and Pat, Mama D, Sarge, all my teammates, the sponsors, HK Army, DLX. It takes everybody, and the NXL and Go Sports, everyone that brings all of this together. And shout out to the PTG family. Like, we find inspiration in so many different ways from so many different facets, from inside the organization and outside of the organization. And the paintball community as a whole is something that just keeps us, I know I speak for you as well, Marcelo, really inspired to be the best that we can. So for Heat, we're just staying hungry. We're on the right path. In between the events, we absolutely are like in the, the DMs. We have our own like group DMs and stuff, group chats, hyping each other up, staying positive, staying
Fantasy
focused.
football's getting lit.
You know how it goes. Yep.
I can't wait for the GOAT meeting. Oh, it's gonna be hot in there.
Damn. Dude, is
GOAT
Paul Shut Up We're Trying in the fantasy? Is that Paul?
Yeah, that's Paul.
Okay. I got the dub over Paul this week. Shout out to Paul.
Nice.
Yeah.
My game's not over. I am playing Ilek. I always pronounce his name wrong. I'm sorry, brother. His fantasy football name, though, is Cypress Kings. I am 65% favored to win. My team is hurting, though. Dobbins out for the season. Eckler out with an ankle. I had to pull like the GM move of the year trade to acquire some decent pieces. Turns out the trade worked better in favor of the opposing GM. My players that I sent to him did better this week, but that's how it goes. We'll see. It's for the long haul. It was, we'll see. So I've still got my defense to play. I'm up about 28 points, but he has Mari Cooper, Nick Chubb, and Najee Harris. So not looking great for me. I think between those three players, they're going to be able to score around 40 points at least. So who knows? They could have weeks like they did last week. Each of those players had like six and something, but we'll see. We'll see. I might be 1-1 in that league. I'm 2-0 in the NXL league. The NXL league is great. It's Dalton, Keith Brown, Corey Field, the Boyan brothers, Al Fernandez. Who am I missing? Tim Brusselback, Corey Hall. It's like a really interesting group of guys, but it's so funny. I'm kicking ass in that one, 2-0 right now. That's pretty tight.
Dude, it's so much fun. And we also have the champs and challengers, so it'll be cool to see for the PTG fantasy football. There's a challengers division. Is it the top two or the top one?
Just the top one, the winner, just the winner.
Yeah.
Winner moves up. Now, Mouse is in our champions division in PTG 2. How did he do this week? He won the first week.
That's right. He did win first week.
The Rizzlers. Oh, it looks like he's going to win this week too. Yeah, he's favored to win. It's not over, but he's favored to win. Oh, he's going to win. The other team has no players left. Yeah. The banter's
great.
The banter
in the chats. It's been going crazy.
The Rizzlers are going to take down New York Wrecking Stew. No affiliation to New York Wrecking Crew. It's just Jay Stew. Shout out to Jay Stew from the Discord. Looks like Mouse took you down this week. Dude, Mouse scored 133.33 points. That's amazing. He still has Miles Sanders to go.
Trey.
Love that. Dude, fantasy football is back. It's exciting.
Hell yeah. Next week on the show, we're going to be having a special guest. Is that right?
Yeah, not confirmed, but yes. We're not even going to talk about it. Yes, but if we do get this guest on, some amazing news, some really awesome stuff that's going to be happening early next season. So hoping to have them on. And we did talk with Keith Brown as well. He's just not home yet. He wants to get on the show, so he will be on the show in the very near future as well. The GOAT meeting, I'm sure we will have lots of awesome news and surprises and cool stuff for you guys too. But other than that, man, Ty, absolutely. I know it's decompression day, kind of hard to do a show the day after the event, a little brutal.
Dude, we just got home.
Workout this morning. We just got home. I landed at 12:25 a.m. this morning, right? Yeah, I didn't get back to my house until around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Woke up early because the girlfriend had to be at work. Oh, goodness, her alarm. She has such an ugly alarm. It's like, like, why do you need that alarm? Let me set my alarm. It's nice. I'll wake up, and then I'll wake you up. Just turn that air horn off. I feel like I'm waking up to the Spick and Span show.
Dude, it's nice to have some nice music playing when you wake up. Like,
I know, something nice,
Yeah, for sure. I have like my favorite song play as my alarm. It's like, so I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is a vibe. It's all right.
It's a game changer. Right. Listen, this is a life hack. If you have just the regular generic alarm, just try to change it to something a little more soothing. Do it on days that it's not, imperative that you wake up. Do it on days where if you snooze it or miss it, you're not going to lose your job or something. But just try on some of those days to change your alarm and see how much better of a mood you're in when you wake up rather than being scared when you wake up. Like first thing in the morning, you're scared. It's like, whoa, okay, I'm up. That's not good. That's not good for the body. It's not good for the system. So just give it a shot. I understand my girlfriend, she is on call a lot. And so she'll be on call overnight and have to get called into the hospital in the middle of the night. And so I understand that alarm, keep it whatever you need it to be. But every other, what are you doing? What are you doing? Psycho.
No, I heard that.
Yeah.
Well, it's 100%. Good to see you, March. And,
hey, also shout out to WNXL team, the Heroines, for taking down.
Yeah.
Oh, who did they play in the finals? Cheetahs. It was the Cheetahs. That's right. The Heroines looking really good heading into World Cup for the season championship. Really excited to see what shakes down there. But yeah, shout out to Anthony and Lori. They've been on a little bit of a roll lately, obviously spearheading Team USA, and their WNXL team is dominating right now.
Yeah, and congrats to everybody that made it to the finals out there in Chicago. Congrats to the Cheetahs. And we also had New York Wrecking Crew who made it to
second place. We lost to Shut Up, We're Trying. And if you're in the Discord, you understand how much of a rivalry that is. There has been so much smack talk between those two teams because they've gone back and forth. They're in contention for the title. Unfortunately, my New York boys did take the L this time. Shut Up, We're Trying looked really good. They played really controlled, really disciplined, shot good zones. Go ahead, Ty. You wanted to say something?
There was some money on the line too, I think, in the Discord. There was like a wager that was made too. I don't know how
There's
serious
been tons of like little quasi wagers. I wonder if they're gonna, hold up.
See.
I think the main one should be World Cup. Again, it's all about winning cup. Win cup, win the championship, then you could talk.
Straight up.
Let's see, PB Fit 4 in a row. I mean, that's crazy.
Impressive.
You know what's even crazier about it is if Blast Camp wins World Cup, they'll get the pro spot and PB Fit won't.
Is that real?
That's crazy. Yeah, it's real. It's 100% real.
Damn, that is crazy. Okay, so they still got a chance.
I don't know why I said that's 100% real when I'm just repeating what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do the math.
Yeah. It could
but that's what I heard. That's what everyone's saying. That's what everyone's saying. As if
it could be possible too.
Yeah, it could be possible.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Fit would have to do really, really bad, and Blast Camp would have to win. I think.
That's a guarantee because it's double points, and they've been 1 and 2 all season, so their points aren't that far apart.
Oh, wow.
So with World
Crazy.
Cup being double points, it's like, yeah, it's
pretty close.
I think if Blastcamp gets fourth and Fit, or if Blastcamp wins and Fit gets like third or fourth, I think it's like a guarantee that Blastcamp could steal the pro spot. But I think it might even be just one position. I don't know. We got to do the math. Crunch the numbers. PTG Nation, crunch the numbers, do the math. Let us know in the comments. Everybody, please like, share, subscribe. You guys really do help when you comment on the videos, leave your opinion, let us know what we could do better, share with your friends. Let's get paintball to the masses. We appreciate you guys. And T, thank you, brother.
I loved it.
Nice job. I was rooting for you. Obviously, once
Thanks,
he took us down, wanted to be sitting here having a little bit different of a conversation. But hey, let's get back to work and of course, I know. Yeah. And World Cup is soon. So, the road to Cup is we're well on our way.
It's right now. Everybody be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. And thank you, PTG Nation. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, everybody. Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us. As always, if you like the show, please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you can to help get our show in front of other paintball players and even non-paintball players. That is the best. When non-paintball players listen to Play the Game podcast and get inspired to go play, you are doing your part to help grow the sport, and we can't thank you enough. If you guys really, really love the show, please head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the Patreon link and become a supporter. A supporter at any level will give you access to the Discord. The Discord is the community that we have built with a private chat room that has all sorts of different channels in there. Really cool stuff going on. We do awesome giveaways, and it's a great place to learn, grow, and create new, lovely, beautiful paintball friends. All right, everybody. As always, we will see you very soon.